Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Newsfeed on Metro Television, coming to you live from the Kwabwahima studios here at North Ridge in Accra. My name is Ifwa Ando. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. Patricia Isiedwa, also known as Nana Agrada, put before Accra Circuit Court 9 following her arrest over an alleged money doubling scam. Businesses in Edum Kumasi shut down over high dollar rate and an 18.5% tax on their products. We will bring you a live update of an ensuing demonstration by traders. A week after floods devastated communities in Gan South and Wejakbawe municipalities in Accra, following the spillage of excess water from the Wager Dam, Metro News returns to assess how life is for residents there. Bureaus in parts of Accra are selling $1 at an average of 11.2 cedis. We will assess the impact on businesses through a stakeholder conversation. Plus, death toll rises to 76 after boat sinks in southeastern Nigeria. Details coming up shortly. Patricia Isiedwa, popularly known as Nana Agrada or Evangelist Mama Pad, has been arraigned over claims of defrauding her church members. The police arrested Patricia Isiedwa on Sunday and urged anyone who is a victim of the alleged money doubling scam to report to the Accra Regional Police. Meanwhile, Nana Agrada had apparently defended her actions, saying she did nothing wrong.
Reverend Mama Pats, Babon say the catcher Ghana for say, me chairman sorry masika, Mamudia Koyechu. And to Upia, I hope I say me boss as a canopy. Now the Yechuman, bra. And so ba, Obaba before you so crown watching, Wabetro team. Then you become a church member. So by a church member, now if you was that you are sorry. And to say, Reverend Mama Pat, my all night. Now my chemisika, I'm a man sorry. Now you be a more than I know the dream I watch for dinner. Say be into me and so. Mama Pat, me near one, me fraud over, me more poor. Obian Sunim say, all night, ye chasika. Obian Sunim say, I sorry be out qua, ya buff for dear. Men qua me yet also for bar me buff for dear. Me the camera at Tosso. Abra me resi fan no. Man quayo kukuamo. Me can wo a sorry demo. Say, a for a bono. Ye shall see 3,000 cedis. 800, 700, every sequence. Say, Abia, Adiasa, na ya all night. Na we see can get out, na we phone so. Obit me a send it. Aya for dear. Near free wakumo, now dear. Obia him say Ghana. One almost said Jumadia woman in was a brave to destroy my ministry. Near the kind yabe or deneme. Yaya demonstration etiame. They told me, you know, I sorry, yes, yes, I'm a comeba at the assassination. And what she and send Bebre attempted to destroy my image, to tarnish my image, to destroy the ministry. But if we are sick, dear Randia cannot.
Well, we've been joined on phone by Elvis Ando, who is at the Accra Circuit Court. Good afternoon to you, Elvis. What is happening out there?
Okay, so good afternoon. Currently, the case has been called at the Accra Circuit Court 9, and Agrada has been charged with 7 counts, and the key counts among them has to do with the publication of doubling the monies of her congregation on TV if they should give her an initial deposit of any amount, and then also defrauding by false pretense. These are the major counts that have been given on her or slapped on her in court today. She's pleaded not guilty to all the counts that has been leveled against her. And then she's also currently standing in the box and being questioned at the moment. That's the time I left the court to grant this interview. So Agada is currently in the box. Now let me take you to how she's looking at this very moment in court. She is unperturbed about the situation as it stands now. She looks calm and sober because she's sure of herself that what has been brought to the court, she's not guilty of it. And then she's also of the view that from her gestures, she's of the view that yes, indeed, the accusation that is being leveled against her is not actually true, and that she was just doing her responsibility as a prophetess. Now, when her name was mentioned in court, the clerk didn't add the titles to her name, and she objected that her name is Reverend Dr. Patricia Asiedua Odro, not Patricia Odro, of which the clerk indicated to her that per what is on the charge sheet, there is no title attached to her name, and that she was a bit worried, but then asked that the case continues. So currently, where we are right now, the case is in court being heard at the moment, and she pleaded not guilty to the 7 charges leveled against her. We are waiting on whether or not she would be granted bail today or she wouldn't be granted bail. And we are looking at the arguments that will be raised by her lawyer in court as to why she should be given a bail to the charges slapped on her.
Now, Elvis, are some of the church members at the court premises?
Well, we've not seen any of the church members here. The only people we can see are the police and then the lawyers and some relatives of her. But interestingly, we've been told that there are 2 ladies around here who have been who fell victim to her alleged deceit. And so we are looking out to see if we can find them and then have a conversation with them as to how they got the information that she's being brought to this court, because apparently she was supposed to be sent to the Wager court but was brought to Accra Circuit Court. So that is actually what is on the grounds at the moment, but we've not cited any of the church members here, and the place doesn't look so busy as it would be expected to be. I don't know, maybe after this reportage we will see some of the church members coming here, but as it stands now, there is nothing on the ground. The church members are not here and the place is dry at the moment.
Right, thank you very much indeed. Elvis Ando speaking with us there from the Accra Circuit Court. Now, security analyst Adib Sani says Agrada's covetousness is a result of a broken system. According to him, the loopholes in our values, norms and criminal justice systems have given her the freedom to operate without fear. He added that people fall prey to these mischievous acts due to greediness.
I think everybody is to blame, not just the victims, not just the police. We have to blame the system. Agrada's boldness, her viciousness is a reflection of a broken system. So I hardly blame her because she's just an opportunist who is exploiting some loopholes in our values, in our norms, in our criminal justice, and is doing it even on live TV. And I think it is the system that is to blame. And Nana Appiah Mensah of Men's Gold destroyed a lot of lives, but he's still walking a free man. He's still living lavishly. All right. So I think that generally everybody is to blame. But I think most of the blame should go to our fellow citizens who are so greedy and who have an insatiable thirst for overnight riches and would fall for such tricks. They easily become prey because of their greed as well. I mean, how do you expect that money would be doubled, knowing full well that this lady, used to be like that? I mean, she's done it to so many people. Go to Sotom police station, ask for her file, and you'll be amazed by the number of complaints that have been made against the same woman. And the police knows her, and she knows the police. So let's not behave like Agrada is someone new to us. This is what she's been doing all along. We need to be very careful not to create a problem in an attempt to solve a problem. The thing is, freedom of religion is very paramount to us. It is very pronounced in our constitution. It's something we hold in high esteem. To regulate churches might get Ghanaians to question whether indeed we are adhering to this constitutional provision. Rather, we should make a conscious attempt to draw a thick line between religion and deception, or religion and scam. The two don't meet.
Security analyst Adib Sani there. Let's now speak with National Media Commission Chair Yalwedu Ayeboafo for more on this. Good afternoon to you, sir. What are your initial reactions to Nana Agrada's doubling scam?
Well, I have always held the notion that people who say that they double money and people who go for double money, both of them are fraudulent people, So that Nana Agrada, and when they were doing it, as I sit on my TV and I watch people going and shouting and all that, definitely I knew that it was fake. But getting people to understand and appreciate that that is not the thing that they ought to do was the biggest problem, rather than seeing that as a fraudulent activity.
And what is your outfit doing to nip such money doublers in the bud before they cause havoc to victims?
Well, you see, the duty of the National Media Commission is not about criminality. The basic function of the National Media Commission is to ensure a free and open media where everybody is able to express themselves freely, without let or hindrance. And that as part of that, we educate the public, we educate those individuals. And indeed, for us, the bigger responsibility was on the operators of those television and radio stations, rather than those individuals who use those facilities to do whatever that they were doing. And so our approach, and if you read the law, the provision is that we should take all appropriate measures. And one of the appropriate measures that we took in dealing with these issues was engagement of owners of television stations, radio stations, that such fraudulent activities may temporarily bring them some revenue, but in the long run, they were very, very detrimental to the interest of the people.
I was going to come to that. We still have the challenge of having some of these people appear in our media spaces. What do you think should be done about it?
No, you see, this is the problem. We are the one who open our doors to them. And so it is we that we should block, because if we do not open our stations to them, they will not have that avenue. Because, you see, they may be operating in the corners. And when they are operating in their corners, that is not the responsibility of the National Media Commission. That becomes the duty of other duty bearers, including the police and all that. The only moment that it becomes a matter for the National Media Commission is when they sit on TV, when they sit on radio, and they propagate those kind of commentary that ordinarily we all see that this is not decent enough, and this is not a kind of conversation that we should engage in. Yeah, but the other side, the flip side of it also, is the fact that in this country, gambling is not totally unlawful. I mean, there are people who engage in some form of gambling who are licensed, I mean, to do that. You know, and so for some of those people, there are some of them who have registered and they have been given certificate to perform. And for such people, even though we do not think that it is right and proper, once they have been granted the license to operate, there's very little that we can do as Media Commission beyond appealing to them and particularly educating the general public that these are not the kind of things that we should engage ourselves in. For, you know, because when I was the editor of the graphic, most of the time when people come there to report that they have been defrauded because somebody said that he can make dollars for them, they took. I said, I don't sympathize with them. You have not done any work for which you should be paid in dollars. And yet you expect that somebody will just conjure and you will get $100,000. You yourself, who is going to take those dollars? I mean, what image are you building? That then you should turn around and then blame that other person who defrauded you because you yourself, you are a fraudster. So public education is one of the things that we are doing because the 1992 Constitution does not allow the National Media Commission to close down a radio station. I mean, the law is clear. And if you read Article 172, it is clear there that the commission is not to interfere with the day-to-day running of any media house. And so what people do, it is only when complaints come on the basis.
You can make suggestions, right?
No, yeah, but suggestions are not law. Listen, I mean, even as you are talking to me, you can suggest something to me. And if I ignore it, what can you do? You understand? But if the thing is law, then it ceases to be a suggestion because then it is enforceable. But when the thing is just about me trying to persuade you, trying to inform you, trying to educate you, and if you decide that, oh, the suggestions that I'm making make sense to you, and you apply them, it is different. You know, so we must understand the context from which we are operating. We cannot close down any radio station as the National Media Commission. The law does not allow us to do that. The only body that the law grants this is the National Communications Authority. But even there, they cannot close down a station just because of content, unless that content constitutes crime against the nation, including incitement of ethnic sentiments, religious bigotry, and those kind of things.
Right. Thank you very much, National Media Commission Chair Yabwedu Ayebwafo there. Thank you very much for your time, indeed. Now, moving on, some traders at Edum in the Ashanti region have shut down their shops over the high dollar rate and an 18.5% tax on their product. The traders who have decided not to work today say the situation is affecting their businesses. Let's now cross over to the region and speak with Abdel Basit Suleiman. Good afternoon to you, Abdel. What is happening there now? Hello, Basit.
Yeah, hello.
What is happening out there?
Yeah, this morning, today being Monday, the 10th of October 2022, economic activities at the Edum Central Business District came to a halt because most of the traders here have decided to...
Okay.
Hello?
I said I can hear you. You can go ahead.
Yeah, most of the traders over here have decided to close down their shops to protest against what they claim as unusual or economic hardship. According to them, most of them are imported. Whenever they import items to the country, they paid 18% as a VAT rate. Meanwhile, the same item will also be charged another 18% by the retailers. And moreover, when the final consumers are to also buy the same item, they also pay additional 18%, meaning that the same item has incurred about 3 times VAT interest on it, which according to the traders is one of the things that compound to the economic hardship. So right now, as I speak with you, the entire stores at Edum has been closed down, and the leaders of this association have just met and decided that they would embark on a massive demonstration come Thursday. Right from here, they are going to the police headquarters to seek for police protection so that they will be able to embark on massive.
I'm sure that you've been speaking with some of these traders. What exactly have they been saying, and what do they want done for them?
Yeah, according to them, the depreciation of the CD is one of the things that has been affecting their trading activities, and they want government to step in to ensure that the CD to dollar ratio is being addressed. And secondly, they want the VAT system to be stable. At least if you import an item, there should be one VAT rate on it, not to transfer to the wholesaler and to the final consumer. These are some of the things that are going to them compound to the economic hardship in this country. And they are going to close their shop until this issue is resolved.
Where are these traders now?
Come again.
Where are they? Where are the traders?
Most of them are standing in front of their shop because their group just met to get a final decision on what to do next. And according to them, they've sent delegations to other markets to sensitize them so that they know the exact thing that their leaders, the decision that the leaders have taken, so that they will also join. So by the end of the week, and I'm sure all the traders within the market will also join this process that they've started today.
Anything else you've observed that you'd want to share with us before you go?
Come again?
I'm asking you, have you observed anything you'd want to share with us?
Well, one thing that I observe over here, this place is a very choked place most of the time. Normal business days, it's hardly a vehicle will be able to fly this route, but because of this protest and because the traders here have closed their shop in protest, there is a free flow of traffic over here. And most of the traders are not happy at all. They are not happy at all. Looking at their facial expression, their reaction tells us that they are not happy at all because, according to them, they made a mistake for voting for this government because they never knew it will get to a time that they will be suffering as they are suffering right now. That is my initial observation that I observed. And most of them are also saying they've made a big mistake that they voted for this government and they will not repeat that mistake again.
Very much appreciate your time, Bassett. Thank you very much. Abdel Bassett there speaking to us from Edum in the Ashanti region. You're still watching Newsbeat. Still to come, President Akufo-Addo has addressed the 215th session of the Executive Board of UNESCO in Paris earlier today. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. Good to have you with us. The National President of the University Teachers Association of Ghana, Professor Solomon Nunu, says the association will be meeting with the 15-member union campuses on Tuesday, October 11, 2022, to collate views on the next decision to take should government fail to heed to their concerns. The union declared its intention to start a nationwide strike on Thursday, 13th October 2022, over failure by government to honor terms of their conditions of service.
The issues at stake have to do with issues related to our fuel allowances. So normally, whenever government determines the rate for fuel, it affects three main allowances. One is the fuel allowance, which is the main one, and it's normally assigned to office holders. And we also have what we call the off-campus allowance, which is a commuter's allowance for persons living outside the university vicinity. And the last one is the vehicle maintenance allowance. Unfortunately, this year, when this rate was determined, government decided that they wouldn't let it affect the off-campus allowance and the vehicle maintenance allowance. And that is what has actually caused this seeming disaffection towards government for this particular issue. We'll meet on Tuesday to collate views from the various branches on the way forward. So at this point, we are briefing members on what has transpired so far so that from there we can take their views and to be able to advise ourselves on what to do in the coming days. Decisions normally will range between what to do beyond the engagement with government. If government goes ahead to provide all that we are requiring for, it means everything is perfect and all does go to sleep. However, if that is not the case, and then government decides that no, the status quo as they want to prevail will have to prevail, then in that case, we also will have to look at the views from members as to what do we do next. You know, always we say that no union is interested in striking because in terms of teachers, anytime we do strike, or university workers for that matter, the work waits for us. We will still come back and get the work done. So it is not the ideal thing for us to consider doing at any point in time. But when push comes to shove, then that may be a consideration. That one, the members normally will decide what we do at that.
Now, we'll try and get Executive Secretary of the National Labour Commission, Ofusua Samoa, for further insight into negotiations so far. Now, life is gradually returning to normal for residents of Weija and its environs after heavy flooding in the area last week. The flooding follows the opening of some spill gate of the dam by the Ghana Water Company Limited. This latest spillage, which was unannounced, was to spill excess water to save the dam from collapse due to the recent rains. Now, some residents out there have been speaking to Metro News.
I have come back from home, but all my items have been destroyed by the floods. We need help.
The impact is huge. We have lost all our belongings, our fridge, bags and books we purchased for our children. We have been here for 11 years, and this is the most devastating floods. We are pleading to the government to support because we are in a difficult situation.
By Zoom now is our Central Regional Correspondent, Akwesi Ado. Akwesi, before we talk about what is happening in Weija now, tell us what's going on at the University of Education. We're told that students have accused the Data Protection Unit of neglecting to update their records in the last 3 years, even after serving notice. What is happening there?
Okay, so currently, as I speak to you, some level 400 students of the University of Education, Winneba, are protesting. What they've been doing is that they've been marching along the routes within the university community. Earlier on in the morning, a police team dispersed the crowd, but they later reformed and then began marching along the routes in the campus here. And then they are chanting some war songs. Now, according to them, the university management has failed to deal with the issues of their results challenges, even though they've consistently been drawing their attention to the matter. We are aware that this matter has lingered on for over 4 years now, and so it has incurred the wrath of these very students. As I speak to you now, the students' center has been closed to students. Students are not allowed to enter because it is feared that they may cause some form of commotion at the center there. Even though they have not destroyed any property of the university, but we are learning that early on, some of the students actually disrupted some lecture activities here on campus.
Right. Are they raising any other issues apart from the data protection issue? Are there any other issues they've raised?
There are no other issues they are raising apart from the data protection units issue. But you see, according to the students, they've been migrated from an old portal to a new one. And then on the new portal, they are finding it quite difficult to log onto that portal. And if eventually you successfully log onto that portal too, you don't find your accurate details on the platform. For instance, persons who did not register for some specific courses are rather having those courses displaying, and that the grades awarded them suggest that they have failed in that very courses. those they actually registered for aren't displaying, and those who have their accurate courses they registered for displaying also are saying that they do not believe that the grades awarded to them is what they actually got during the examination.
Right. Now let's go to Wager now. Are people going about their normal activities?
Okay, so at Wager, people are going about their normal activities. Those who had their shops inundated have started cleaning and wiping the items that were covered by the flood waters. Some residents have also begun counting their losses. Those who can salvage some few items are also ensuring that the items are being put into shape so that at least they can reuse them. They are having their homes cleaned because the floodwaters have left some sort of filth in the various rooms. But they are quite worried with regards to the fact that as at now, there has not been the presence of any authority, particularly to the Old Tetebu Township, which is the place that got heavily flooded during last week's flooding incident. Now, according to them, there are some persons who have fallen sick as a result of the flooding situation, and there are others who also have had their businesses heavily devastated, but they are yet to get any form of intervention from any authority in the area.
Right, Akwesiado, thank you very much for your time. We'll definitely come back to you. You keep an eye on happenings there. We'll come back to you for more. Now, President Akufo-Addo has called on UN member states to devise homegrown financial solutions to develop the educational sector in their respective countries. He was speaking at the 215th session of the Executive Board of UNESCO in Paris on Monday.
Aid and direct aid to education by bilateral donors fell by some 359 million United States dollars, which is not compatible with the objectives of the Addis Ababa Action Agenda for financing sustainable development and the goals of the Sustainable Development Goals. We're further informed the prospects for reaching funding target through voluntary contributions are uncertain, as several long-term donors have already reduced significantly their voluntary contributions to UNESCO due to a change in development cooperation priorities, thereby significantly impacting our planned program implementation. In spite of these challenges, I commend UNESCO for the lead role it played in ensuring the success of the Transforming Education Summit held on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly. Necessitated by the seminal Futures of Education report from UNESCO, this summit, and indeed the pre-summit held here in Paris, have been extremely successful in getting the world to reflect deeply on the trajectory of educational systems and how to address the challenges of our times. As the recently appointed domestic financing champion of the Global Partnership for Education, I seek your cooperation and support to work towards developing sustainable homegrown financial solutions so we can develop the educational system for the future we want in our various countries. We must strive as member states to ensure that education remains a priority in our common development agenda.
Breast Cancer Awareness Month is proudly brought to you by Reflux Sanitary Pad and Baby Pull-Up Diaper and Give Us Floor and WC Cleaners.
The government has been urged to make breast cancer treatment free of charge. Speaking at the launch of Mina Breast Cancer Awareness Project in Accra, suggested to government to increase the National Health Insurance levy component of the VAT from 2.5% to 3% to guarantee a sustainable and dedicated source of funding for the free treatment of the disease.
The Mina Breast Cancer Awareness Project is the brainchild of the Executive Director of Crime Check Foundation, Ibrahim Oponkwatan, to actualize the wish of his wife, who died of breast cancer 3 months ago. Her wish was to raise awareness and treatment of the disease if she had recovered. Unfortunately, she did not survive to pursue her wish. Launching the project, Oponkwatan mentioned that breast cancer campaigns need to be intensified and not wait for only October.
We know the challenges women are going through, especially with regards to breast cancer detection and all that. I think it is important that we don't even limit October as a month that we should all gather and then say something about breast cancer. Mijidi say, as I say, perhaps every month. Because October and the kai hondia, sa 1 year no, salam pubishaha na enyi. It is important for government to ensure say the rare bore on breast cancer no, yebetimi are intensified.
The new approach by Mina Breast Cancer Awareness is tailored to concentrate in the various high schools and universities and relatively younger population affected by breast cancer.
If medically you're fine, then you can assume that that pain is probably from the tightness of your brassiere or maybe the tedious work you've done the whole day. I beg you, if you have a feeling in your breast, early detection is very important. It helps saves your life earlier, or it saves the pain you are going to be through. If you've been examined and you've been diagnosed of breast cancer, one thing I also say to you that you have to really take care of yourself by eating well, taking your medication, and make sure you see your doctor often.
The head of the breast cancer unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Florence Dede, was worried about the thousands of breast cancer patients identified annually.
Watching News Beat. Up next is Business with Kenneth Disi.
Thank you. For our business news is next. Hello again, my name is Kenneth Jesse. In business today, the World Bank in its latest report has ranked Ghana as the #1 country in Sub-Saharan Africa with the highest food prices in 2022. The World Bank says the prices of food in the country have gone up by 122% since the beginning of this year.
Since the start of 2022, food prices have increased sharply in many countries, largely due to the Russian-Ukraine war. According to Food Price Index in countries in Sub-Saharan Africa, Ghana has recorded very sharp prices in food. On the African continent, food inflation in Ghana has been high, recording a year-on-year inflation of 34.4% in August 2022, the Ghana Statistical Service has disclosed. On month-on-month basis, inflation was even higher. The drivers of food inflation in Ghana are oils and fat, 67%, fish and other seafood, 42.9%, water, 42%, cereal product and eggs, 39.7%, fruit and vegetable juices, 37.7%, and live animals and meat, 34.5%.
Right, so let's now see how the increase in food prices in Ghana compares to the rest of Sub-Saharan Africa. Ghana is, of course, the #1 with a 122% increase, followed by Senegal, Uganda, Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa, Angola, Mozambique, Zambia, and Congo. These are the top 10 countries in Africa with the highest increase in food prices in 2022. Another disturbing story as the dollar has hit 11 Ghana cedis to mark as some forex bureaus in parts of Accra are selling the dollar at an average of 11 cedis 20 pesos. Let's have a conversation on the back of this, and joining me on the telephone lines is the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, Samson Awingobet. Awingobet, grateful for your time this afternoon. So how are importers coping with the current cedi depreciation?
Thank you very much. It shows that how the economy of this country is saturated. It shows how the managers of this economy could not live up to expectations as they promised us before coming into government. I strongly believe that it is a situation that should be worrisome to every Ghanaian nook and cranny. And I said it this way, that it's because Ghanaians have not shown so much anger on the government. So the government think that they are performing when they pretend to be performing when they are not performing. It is not a good situation. It is not a smiling something. It is something that you go to the business committee, then you see everybody frown their faces. I remember 2016 thereabout. Someone will tell you in the light note that you go to the media, you go to the Wazuka or you go to Katamanso, and everybody is having putting their hand on their cheek and they are thinking about their welfare. That is exactly exhibiting at this point in time. I can tell you, business community are not happy with this. And I think about 3 days ago, I said before even December, if care is not taken, $1 will go for 12 cities, and it is coming to a fruition. I strongly believe that the government that pointed to us that in 2018 that they were supposed to close down some financial institutions in order to make our city very resilient, in order to make our economy very strong, as it pertained at the time that they collapsed these Ghanaian businesses, they have woefully shown the other side of the Ghanaian. So I strongly believe that we cannot entertain, we can no longer pamper or worship the government. We have to tell the government to the face that they have performed in woefully adequate, and they cannot be the managers of the economy as they told us when they were coming. I strongly believe that just some few months ago, the finance minister was in August at the media budget review. When Ghanaians were calling that the government will have to go for an earlier subvention through IMF, the finance minister, the deputy minister said, so far as the government is remaining in office, they will not go anywhere. This is where the government has brought us to. So I can tell you, the business community are not happy. You go to the port, you are wasting 9 cedis, 60 pesos to calculate duty for Ghanaians imported in this country. That is where we are brought into. Goods who come to this country, we cannot clear it. Then you have GRA also out there saying to the media that we shall come after business community. Doing business in this country under this government, it become a hell. A hell in the sense that you are a criminal, you've been criminalized, demoralized. I thought only you go to a court, and it's only a court of competent jurisdiction that can pronounce someone guilty or not guilty. But this is where we find ourselves. That someone, by the virtue of government appointee, sitting in his office comfortably, not knowing how the challenges and the conditions business community are going through. Just last week, the GRA was all out there closing down business community. Today they were in Kumasi harassing business community. You saw what happened in Kumasi, and let me say, kudos. My heart goes out heavily. Kudos to the leadership of the shop owners and business owners for showing the way that they cannot sit down and allow anybody to come and scramble or crumble down their businesses. And let me say, I would want to see by tomorrow the frozen food importer and fisher will do same. I want to see tomorrow the Okase would store owners and importer will do same, because you are the only person who go to the port and pay. Not a union that come to give you money to pay, not government that come to give you money to pay. Yet government continuing implementing, introducing tax upon tax. You remember earlier this year, my brother, I said that at least food, and I'm happy that the World Bank has come out loud and clear that Ghana is the highest so far as prices is concerned. I propose this, that when government was talking about the VAT Amendment Act, which was going to increase people cost like 19.2%, at least for purpose of food, frozen chicken, frozen food, rice.
This afternoon. Right, Samson Awingobet is with the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, but that's it for business. My name is Kenneth. Jesse Philjon Corte standing by with the latest in sports.
Well, thank you very much, Ken. Up next, we'll bring you the latest in sports. It's 48 past midday in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. My name is Philjon Corte. With 41 days to the Mondial to be starting in Qatar, The chairman of the Black Stars Management Committee, Mercado, believes that the Black Stars can even impact Ade Mondial.
I haven't heard anything. I don't listen to those noise. The reason being that you can't just judge people on one game or two games. I mean, like I said to you, the team, it's a restructuring in terms of, you know, the way they want to play with a lot of new players coming in and all that. So you can't just look at one game. Look, granted, we had a bad. And the coach admitted to some of, and to me, it's a mark of a great leadership when you admit to your fault. And he said it in public that he may have had a few issues, but that's fine. But then, if you look at the second half of the game, also you see how strong we put for almost 20 minutes we controlled the game, which also tells you that, you know, when everything is right, we're going to give a good account of ourselves at the World Cup. To me, I'm very confident that we'll present a very strong team, and you can see from the talent that we have a strong talent pool, and I'm sure we will do well.
Well, that's your sports. My name is Phil John Corte. Well, let's go for that commercial. When we come back, Harriet will bring you all the latest in entertainment.
It's now time for entertainment. Now, Ghanaian music star Black Sharif takes over Ghana's Apple Music Top 100 as tracks from his recently released album, The Villain I Never Was, takes over the top 10 spot. Soldier, which was released before the album, occupies #1 spot with 45 at #2, which is also #2 track on the album. All Paradise, which he sang in memory of his first love who passed away, is at #3. Oil in My Head, track #2 on the album, also sits at #4 on Ghana's Apple Music Top 100. The opening track of the album, Homeless, is at #5. Now, currently, the debut body of work has all 14 tracks from the album occupying a spot on Apple Music 100 charts Ghana. Since its release on the dawn of October 6th, The Villain I Never Was has dominated music charts.
My mystery box is somewhere very near. I feel it inside me. I'm feeling very weird. Something where I taste.
Away from that, now multiple award-winning Ghanaian dancehall artist Stonebwoy says he's all set to drop a new album soon. The album will comprise of all sorts of genres from amapiano, Afrobeats, hip life, etc. In an interview on Vibes Radio on Nairobi, as monitored by Metro Entertainment News, he made mention that he could drop 2 or more albums if the fans want him to.
I can give you guys 14-track album 3 times. Ease. If you want to swallow it all, next week I can pour it all on you guys, man. Yeah. Because I keep working. Yeah. Non-stop. So the album is actually, recording-wise, yeah, we have tons and tons of songs. We are at the stage of fine-tuning and closing, you know. So that's where we are right now for the album. The name is gonna come out soon, and all these ones. But so far so good. I think we went on a therapy tour, the whole Europe tour, therapy European tour. And we're just taking it, you know. We're just taking it. We're constructive with our strategy and our.
Well, that's it for entertainment news on Newsbeat. My name is Harriet Adi. Efwa.
Thank you very much, Harriet. And before we take a look at some news on the international front, strict enforcement of Operation Clean Your Frontage continues. My colleague Shadrach Odame has been with a team at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and has this for us.
Last week we were in the Okankwe enclave. We've seen Circle, we've seen Aveno, and then some part of Okankwe North. We were doing this with some environmental experts and then environmental officers of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. And then one of those people were Ishmael Tego, who fronted most of the sermons that were given to the companies and then households who were found culpable. He's here with me, and then we'll find out how today's project or today's tour of the Ablekuma South Enclave is going. So, Ishmael, you the Enclave. Today we are starting with Ablekuma South. You have your what do you call it? Is it the sermons book?
This is a statutory notice book. So today we are starting the Ablekuma South Operation Clean Your Frontage exercise. So basically, we are on the Kolebu stretch to the Mamprobi post office. And it's amazing that because how busy the Kolebu Teaching Hospital is. own hands. They are putting unauthorized structure on the pavements, building on the shoulders of the public road, and it's preventing pedestrian movement. So you realize that right now, most of the containers and the shop that they put.
We'll bring you more of that in our subsequent bulletin. Up next is international news.
Two members of Iran's security forces have been killed in continuing protest against the authorities